I'm Katie. Welcome back to Yoga Awakening. And welcome back to our meditation month. This is practice 3, and our theme for our guided meditation is Be Curious. So if you haven't checked out the first 2 practices or the introductory video, I'll go ahead and leave those links in the description box below. So right away this time, arriving in your space, wherever that is, finding your position, and then know that similar to what we did last week in our notice practice, you can always return back to one of those simple anchors. Anytime, whether you're just finding yourself a little distracted, or maybe whether there's some anxiety arising or racing thoughts, it's feeling hard today in this moment to be still and quiet, which happens. So some of those anchors that we've explored were first that simple belly breathing, and if you need even a little more, you can bring hands to the low belly and even have that tactile awareness there of the belly, just gently moving with the breath. Or you could simply notice the sensations in your body, maybe starting with the sensations of feeling where the body is touching the ground, or touching your prop or your chair. Just moving into those sensations. Maybe it's simply noticing the breath in and the breath out. Taking a moment to notice the space around you. The quality of the air, the smells in the room, any noises in your space. I know there are certainly some noises here in my space in the big city. So you can always come back to some of those more tactile, simpler experiences or sensations. And I like to think of our theme in today's practice as not really so much building another layer, but kind of stripping away what's not essential. Maybe something you've heard before in a different meditation practice. And I think that when we get right down to one of the essential kind of qualities or experiences of meditation, I think one word that we have to describe that is curiosity. You might have heard that idea as non-judgment or non-attachment, or maybe just openness. I really like the idea of curiosity, what that kind of sparks in my experience, what that reminds me of. I think there's a lightness there and a playfulness there, and also instead of thinking of it as not something, we think of it as something that we can explore and cultivate. So, taking that space that we grew in our first practice, and that noticing, that simple power of awareness, of attention, think what tends to happen when you can be with those, with both of those experiences, which are maybe really the same experience, is that there's a kind of curiosity that arises. So as you're sitting here, starting to arrive in this moment with whatever it's bringing to you, whatever is coming up as you sit, as you listen to my voice, as you maybe fidget a little or get settled, you might start to open to that idea of curiosity. What does that mean for you? Is that something that you're attracted to right away that seems easy and fun and exciting? Or in this present moment, does that feel really difficult and far away? Are there just lots of thoughts maybe in the mind? Are you feeling a little closed off? Are you feeling vulnerable? Part of that practice of noticing is already coming in here. As you're here with these moments of silence and quiet, know that being curious might be really difficult today, especially if we are starting to really notice. There might be a lot to notice there, a lot that's coming up, or maybe almost the opposite, but equally hard, I think, is just a feeling of dullness, of not knowing, of not having a particular experience coming up that you can kind of name and identify. So as we're noticing and asking what it would be to be curious about what we're noticing, it's perfectly natural to start to run into all sorts of obstacles. Maybe you've identified in one of our earlier practices a sort of thought pattern that often kind of carries you off, or something you're latching on to. But know that if anything is arising there that's frustrated, or that's blocked, or that's thinking, that you're already noticing. You're already meditating. Right? That's really the only action there that we're concerned with, is just this ability to pay attention and to keep paying attention, to keep cultivating that really deep power of awareness that we all have within, even if we lose track of it. So even the simple act of questioning that frustration, or questioning that thought that pops into your head, or questioning and wondering about whatever your experience is right now. You're already there. You're already curious and awake and alive and experiencing this moment. Soften any lines of the face. Come back to one of those anchors if one of them felt particularly helpful. As you need, just to refocus the attention. Breathing in and breathing out. Staying with that experience of curiosity. What does it mean right now to become curious? And I think within that idea of becoming curious, is really kind of settling into the reality, accepting the reality that we are so much more than the thoughts in the mind, or even the emotions that we experience in the body, in the mind, in the being. We are so much more than even the sensations of the body. Because as I become curious about all of those experiences in this present moment, for me what happens is I start to realize that that deeper I am not those things. In fact, the I that is experiencing those things is something so much more essential. Those experiences are constantly changing, constantly shifting, and some of them may also be very familiar, right? Maybe there are some repeated familiar patterns that we keep coming back to that do create a certain of energetic experience that we're often in. But even so, even if just for 1 second I can see, yes, that's something I often think. Maybe it's something negative, or maybe it's something that is positive even, but feels closed, right? Even if just for 1 second I become curious, what is that? Why? Yes, I do often think that way, or I do often experience reality as though it were always the same experience. Even in just that second, you've already realized that truth of who you are. You've already started to experience as that essential consciousness. And if nothing else, just think of this like an experiment. It's really this internal experiment of exploring. And curiosity really starts to give us the power to explore, to question. Even if that's questioning the simplest or smallest thing, that's already a radical act. Maybe to question an assumption or a belief or a thought that you have about your life, or about reality, or about what you think your life could or should be. Think of curiosity as your gentle, persistent awareness. So if the attention has perhaps gotten a little caught, maybe as that curiosity grows and you start to have some questioning or some wondering about something that's arising, just keep returning back to this present moment experience. The beauty of all this is that there is no right or wrong experience to be having. All we're asking today is, can I be curious about what that experience is? And we can get really meta too, because it might start to happen that we get frustrated with that, and then we think, oh, I can't be curious. This is going all wrong. I'm just thinking about what I'm going to make for dinner, or I'm just bored, or I'm whatever it is. And then the question there too is, can I just be curious about that? Just kind of soft. There's just that soft and gentle quality, I think, of curiosity. It's not needing anything to be a particular way. And I hope within that is a sense that, in fact, you do not need to be any particular way. You already are what you are. You already are this deep awareness, this deep curiosity, this deep consciousness. To close our practice, let's just take 3 rounds of breath together. So maybe that intentional belly breathing, maybe just some simple inhales and exhales out and in through the nose. So breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, fill up there at the top, and breathing out. Let it all go at the bottom of the exhale. Breathing in, and breathing out. If the eyes were closed, flutter them open. Start to return to the world of the senses. Return to your space. Hands come to heart center. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.